Hey YouTube, Cooper's Automotive. We've got this 2005. It's a Honda Element, and we're gonna do some basic stuff here. Rear brakes and rear struts or shocks, whichever you prefer to call these. I think they're kind of a strut in a way. We got some parts here to get this thing started. Reason we're doing the struts, obviously, is it bounces like crazy, high mileage, and it's out of necessity, of course. There's your part number of an LS33-80372R. And the only difference is you have a left and a right side on it, so that's the right side, obviously. And then the difference in the part number is the last digit of the whole thing right there is the L. That's the only thing that makes the difference on that one. You're going to have to take the tires off. To do the brakes anyway. Then you've got some brake rotors for the rear of this vehicle. We've got a 488015. Those are the same left and right on the rear. We're just using a Napa Premium brake pad here of an SS-7418 X-Ray on there. So all that going. Go ahead and move my strut over here. I'll push that other one back a little too far. Got the little tailgate down, kind of a nice little bench on it. So we've got to get started on this. So let's begin. We're going to start with the brakes on it. And you got a little pick. You've got your little dirt cover coming over your bleeder right here. Going to remove that. And I'm going to take a 10 millimeter. I'm going to open the bleeder up and attempt to push that piston back in. Sometimes usually you can get in here and pry against it. She's not moving too much, so we can take it off and push it back in. Let's go ahead and remove then our caliper. Your seasoned mechanics and all that, this is boring. You don't even need this instructional. But there might be a do-it-yourselfer out there that might want to see it. Yesterday in Florida, we're in Pinellas County, record high heat, 98 degrees, feels like 110. Had a heat advisory. The whole nation's going through it, I think, right now. Now the back part's spinning right there. Taking these are actually 12 millimeter nuts off the back. Just making sure that my Bluetooth is still live, and it is. I heard a beep there. Lay that right there. Now you can push that piston in with a big pair of pliers, possibly, like this, which is going to be my attempt. Should work fine. And grab it across here. The reason I'm breaking the bleeder loose is this can keep the contamination out, and it's easier to get the piston back in. So we're all the way back in. Let's go ahead and put our little dirt cap over the bleeder. And that there, that's a little clip. I don't know if we're going to get a new one with our brake pad set. You're going to have to take off the caliper bracket here. I said these pads are not worn out. We got rust and pitting so bad that when you apply the brakes, it makes a loud scraping sound. He doesn't like it, so he wanted me to replace them. Now on the back here, we got two bolts there. They're 14 mils. You take them out any way you want. This is a little, gosh, the name's scraped right off of it. That right there. I do have hangers to hang calipers on. Should not need them for this application. Now that we've removed the bracket for the caliper, we got to get the rotor out of there. There's a Phillips screw on each side that holds that on. You're going to need an impact type screwdriver. Napa carries the tools made by Carlisle. If I buy tools from them, that's pretty much what I get. It's this one right here. Carlisle tool, a 1140. You want to make sure that the bit you use fits tightly. If you don't use the wrong bit, you're just going to break it off. So you need that. You'll need a hammer. Take those Phillips out. Now, fine thread bolts right here. And I believe those are half-inch drive, something like that, 13 mil. Screw them in to your rotor. Could knock it off with a hammer possibly, but this is the right way to do it. Okay, get that out of there. These are the emergency brake shoes that go on the inside of the rotor here. And they're okay. Now I cleaned up the backing plates back here. Make sure there's no rust on them. Comes with an arbor and a tool by Scotch-Brite, and the part number for that's a 21758. If you want to purchase that, I can put the details in the description. Just want to make sure there's no rust behind here. Goes right over the stud. Because if you start with any piece of rust underneath here, it's going to make the rotor out of round, and it starts small and ends up large by the time it hits the outside of it. All right, so you're going to line it up. Oh, let's see, it's got to go this way. Go ahead and install your Phillips retainers, rotor retainer screws. You'll need to clean your rotor up with some brake cleaner. Slide lubricant, pin, silicone, ceramic extreme brake lubricant for your parts. I'm going to pull your, let's see here. Take these out. Peel the rubber back a little bit. These got to move really well. So we'll install some lube on both of these pins, put them back in. Let's put our bracket on. The back side, your 2 bolts. Grabbing my small impact. Got to give you something to yell about. Just touch them in. Check them with a wrench later. Don't hammer on them. Oh, let me get in here underneath my body's sore today. All right, they're tight. Now, let's get our brake pads. Hardware, you're going to want to take these clips out. Pushing your new hardware back in there. And from there, put our inner and outer brake pad on. Inner pad with your pad life indicator squealer on that. Pads there. Bring our caliper back around here. And underneath is this clip right here that came out. Anti-rattle clip. Tried to keep the pads from moving so that they don't make noise. I don't think that's straight, but all right. Looking for my 12 mil. Noisy person in the background. Okay, we've completed this side. Now let's go to the other side and then we'll start on the struts. Camera angle on this at a different angle on the back side. See a little bit more about how I'm approaching this. Muscles, don't fail me now. Of course, at this time I've set my pick down somewhere. Placing that right there. Grabbing our pliers again. Coming across it. Go ahead and put our cover back on. Leaving our caliper hung up on the lower control arm. Pads are out. Let's find that little impact gun again. Hang this right there, of course. Oh no, he dropped the caliper. It's hanging on the hose. No, not really. All right, those are out. Pulling the guides out. This one, a little stuck. Now you can wipe those guide pins off. You can use a wire brush, clean them off. Getting the old lubricant off of that, rust, and those kind of things. Putting your grease back on the slide. Ensure it moves well. Do the other one. All right, so I'm going to put my caliper bracket out of the way. I'm going to work on that rotor right here with your Phillips big screws and your impact driver. Trying to be very careful with my words, because if I don't say the exact same thing, some of you out there make it tough and jump all over me. All right, I'm getting my bolts into the screws in the front of the rotor. I said I have in the past, when you're not saving the rotors, lubricate it here, hit it here with a hammer. You're not keeping them, so it really doesn't make all that much of a difference of worrying about hitting the surface. So if you're not reusing them, you can do that. Rotor removed. Clean it up. Got our good surface ready for the application of our new rotor. And you don't want that on your pads. Let's see here. I believe that's it. Rotor retaining bolt screws, whatever you want to call them. You saw that on the other side because we showed the face side of it. Just wanted you to see the back side of the install. Caliper bracket. New clips. Sometimes these new clips on some of these brake pads can be a real pain in the neck to get your new brake pads and everything in there. They really can. See how that just slides down on there like that? Remember this clip right here? Pry it out of there. Let's put our new clip back in. Well, the other side just fell in. There we go. Kind of goes in right there, across there. Holds that together. $12mm caliper bolts. If I grunt a lot, it's because I am soon be 58 years old, so comes with the years. Paid my dues. If you're young, you'll figure it out when you get our age. If you're still doing this stuff by then. Maybe there'll be flying spaceships by then anyway. Alright, the 12s. Sometimes you don't have to hold the back edge. They'll tighten up. Sometimes you do. Is there a wrench size for that? There is. I don't know it. They usually have to be such a thin sized wrench till it's difficult to get in there. Through the front of the rotor is a hole. Usually has a piece of rubber in it. This one does not. It's going to look like that right there. If you don't have one in there, one side did. That hole, I'm sorry, I'm trying to get it out of there. That hole is to adjust the emergency brakes. So you take that little rubber out and you can adjust your emergency brakes on it. Okay, our brakes are complete. Now what we've got to do is go after these struts. And right down here, I'm going to change our camera angle. I don't know what we see right now. Right there, you see the strut spring. Goes up through there, and we'll take the bottom nut out first. It's sitting right behind here. I believe that's a 17 mil, and I believe the nut on the other side is not a nut at all. I believe it's just a solid welded in type of nut or retainer. My small impact gun should be sufficient to get this bolt out of here. A little bit of pressure on it, but most of that's coming from the sway bar link right there. I'm going to go ahead and go to the other side over there. Let me take this car up a little, just a little bit. Bolt. Think we can see it. There you go. Let's see if I can tell if that's the bolt that you see right here. And yes, it is. Couldn't tell from the distance. Take this side out. What's going on here is it's grabbing my glove, and I'm needing to put a little pressure on it. Now what you could do, let's just try it. Let's grab you maybe a little pry bar. Could take the sway bar off. That would help you. Or just get a bar in here and see if you can wiggle it down a little bit. And that didn't work. I just thought I'd give that a shot. So since that didn't work, let's attempt to do this. Well, see that pressure as it popped up right there. The bolt's out. We got to go up top. So let's pause for the cause. Vehicle's down, and inside, once you get both the seats up and latched out of your way, there's going to be a cover right here. And you're going to have to get that out of there. Let me lay up in this vehicle on my head. It's going to look like that right up here. And then down inside here, so there's two 14s back there. Now they could have made this access cover right here pop off, and it kind of looked like it did to me from outside, but now that I'm in here, I'm not so sure. So, well, that was dumb because it's up here. Sorry guys, way up here. I was too far back. Don't take that off. Take this cover off, and it sits right here, way down in there with the spider webs are the 14s. I'm going to need an extension, my Milwaukee 3/8. Yep, you can see that halfway decent, but I'm going to be up inside there, so I'm probably going to be blocking your view. Once I take that out, the strut's going to fall. That hard on my Milwaukee, so we'll get a ratchet about that. Once loosened, then we can use our Milwaukee and take those two out. Okay, get out of the way. I'm going outside to the driver's side. Just taking a look here. And it goes down in between the control arm on this one side and what looks like to be the canister evap box. I'm gonna bet you on the driver's side you're gonna have to take that out. Let me look at the passenger side. And if everything works well on the passenger side, we should not have to do that. Refocus. If you get confused, you take them out of the box and you don't know which side is which inside the strut, you can find the right side sticker on it and the left side sticker on it. So there we are. I wish I didn't have to crawl up in here so much and block everything out. Anyway, screwdriver holes in the bottom, pop it out. Kind of guessing where it is. Whoa. Okay. Probably gonna laugh at that video later, that part of it. So there's top of your strut. You see the 214 and the nuts come off of the studs. Now we got to take it up, see what we got to do. All right, so this is the passenger side strut here. Probably pry this out like that. And it comes straight down. We'll go grab our new one. I'm just wedging it in like that right there. What I'm going to need to do is get a hand of a helper here that when I pry down on this arm, they'll put my bolt back in this side, and then we'll have to go back to the other side. But I'm waiting for somebody to get freed up. So while I'm waiting on that, we'll go back over to the driver's side. Once you've established this side, the charcoal canisters here with some tins in it right here, you're going to need to remove the two 10mm bolts going straight up. And hopefully that is enough to twist it to one side to remove this strut. Let's get my pry bar off the ground on the other side. Get up underneath here. That's success. Now you'll make sure, this could probably go in there two ways, so you're going to make sure that your bolt lines up right here, just in case it does. Now, again, we're going to need help. We will stop, get a helper, put our bolt in the bottom. Okay, so when you can't find help, somebody to help you pry that down, you can take out the 17mm bolts on the front of the lower control arm. Just screwdriver through it and start this in there. And then run it in. After you get it started under the hoist stand here, wind it back up. So I just could not get one of my helpers over here. Mama said there'd be days like this. Let's get the one that fell. Alright, so we'll check that. Make sure it's tight, bottom bolt's in. And you know we've got to go to the other side. So on that side, we'll just do the whole thing, just like I did here. So we'll go right here, make sure these are tight. Now we go to the other side. Our battery's getting low. Nice. Alright, see that one hanging down there? Now, take these out. Lower your tripod stand. This one ain't a tripod, but stand. Just get a hammer, not use my hand as a hammer. Once you get it there, take a regular screwdriver, anything that you've got. Where's my light? Up in here. And just move it into alignment. Let's find my other 17. The other side went a whole lot easier than this one. Let's lower that a little bit. See that that bolt's at an angle still. Now, be careful. You can do this with an impact. No, it did not strip it, so don't even start with me. Should you start them by hand? Well, yeah, you know you should. Sometimes it's not that convenient. That one started. And that one started. Can't quite get on there. Let's get this out of the way. All right. I do have my ratchet, my extension here. We'll make sure that this one's tight. A little oil would be nice. So your bottom bolt's in, everything's reconnected there. We're gonna put our tires on, and we gotta put our top nuts on the top of our strut. Oh, and not to mention, so I don't forget, charcoal canister bolts. Might as well do those now. There it is. So we got a shot of both sides here at one time. Kill two birds with one stone. Crawling up in. Chain sizes on me. This is a Not a 14 any longer. It's 15. Okay. Let's put our cover back on, slide it in the top, snaps in. The piece that I took off earlier that I did not have to. We'll go in there. We'll work on getting that in a little bit better. Back on this side. And other than fixing that cover a little bit, getting our tools out of here. Cooling off with something cool to drink. And signing off. So thank you for watching 2005 Honda Element rear brakes and rear strut installation. Subscribe to the channel, press that like button, and join us for our next video. We'll see you soon. Thank you.